people sailed a safe route across the Atlantic, not knowing the ocean ahead was already deciding their fate. This place has no borders on a map, only storms, broken compasses, and people who never returned. Days passed, time broke, and they realized the sea doesn't always kill you. Sometimes it keeps you. Only one choice remained: escape the triangle, or become another name the ocean refuses to give back.
The ocean was quiet that morning, but not in a comforting way. It was the kind of quiet that presses against your ears, the kind that makes even experienced sailors uneasy without knowing why. The water stretched endlessly in every direction, a flat, endless blue that reflected the pale sky like glass. No waves broke the surface, no birds flew overhead. It felt less like nature and more like a paused moment, as if the world had briefly forgotten how to move. A single research vessel cut through that stillness, leaving a thin white line behind it that disappeared almost instantly, swallowed by the sea as if it had never existed. On board were only two people, moving quietly, speaking rarely, respecting the weight of the place they were crossing, even if they hadn't yet admitted it to themselves. They were traveling from Miami to San Juan, Puerto Rico, a routine route, a route flown by planes and sailed by ships every single day. The weather reports were clear. The vessel was well maintained. Every box on the checklist had been marked. There was no reason to feel afraid.
Stable as she goes.
And yet, the ocean does not always announce its intentions. He had spent his life trusting instruments, compasses, charts, coordinates, numbers that promised certainty in a world that offered very little of it. His hands were steady as he adjusted the navigation system, but his mind drifted often, pulled backward by memories he never fully escaped. Years earlier, his younger brother had boarded a plane that vanished somewhere over this same stretch of water. No distress call, no wreckage, just a quiet disappearance that left a permanent echo inside him. Since then, every ocean crossing felt personal, as if the sea recognized him too. She moved across the deck with careful steps, her eyes constantly scanning the horizon. She studied the ocean not to conquer it, but to understand it. Currents, magnetic shifts, sudden storms, these were not mysteries to her, just complex systems layered on top of each other. But even knowledge had failed her once. When she was 13, her mother had sailed out and never returned. No storm, no warning, no explanation that felt complete. Since that day, the sea had never felt neutral. It felt like a question that refused to be answered. They entered the region quietly. No marker announced it. No sign warned them they were crossing into one of the most debated stretches of water on Earth. The Bermuda Triangle exists less as a place and more as a pattern, a convergence of fast currents, unpredictable weather, heavy traffic, and human error, a place where small mistakes become fatal quickly, a place where rescue often comes too late. At first, everything worked exactly as it should. The engine hummed, the compass pointed north, the GPS signal remained stable, the horizon was clean and sharp. Then, the compass needle twitched, so slightly that most people would have ignored it. He didn't. He recalibrated, ran diagnostics, compared readings. Everything said they were fine, and somehow that made the unease worse.
Copy that.
Moments later, the GPS blinked, once, twice. The radio filled with static before falling silent altogether. The air changed, pressure dropped. The temperature shifted just enough to be noticeable. Clouds began to rise on the horizon, tall and fast, stacking upward like something being built rather than formed. Storms in this region were known for their sudden violence, microbursts fueled by warm water and unstable air. No long warning, no slow buildup, just impact. Rain hit the deck hard, stinging skin and metal alike. Wind slammed into the ship from the side, forcing it to roll unevenly. Waves came from conflicting directions, confusing the vessel's balance. Then the engine stopped. Not dramatically, not violently. It simply went quiet. The silence that followed felt louder than the storm. Without power, the ship became a passenger. The Gulf Stream wrapped around it like a moving road, dragging it forward whether it wanted to go or not. This current had carried debris thousands of kilometers before. It did not care what it carried now. The storm lasted hours. When it finally passed, it left behind something far worse than chaos. Stillness. The ocean flattened into an unnatural calm. The sky cleared, but the light felt dimmer, filtered as if seen through tinted glass. The horizon blurred slightly, sea and sky blending together in a way that made distance hard to judge. They tried the radio again. Nothing. Emergency signals failed.
It's no good, it's completely dead. We're on our own.
Food was rationed, water measured carefully. Days passed, marked only by the rising and setting of the sun.
We understand this.
Just keep watching.
Heat burned their skin during the day. At night, cold crept in quietly, settling into bones and joints. Sleep came in fragments, filled with dreams that felt too real.
We made it. Yes, we did.
She began recording voice messages. At first, they were factual. Coordinates, dates, observations, evidence for someone who might never come. Then her voice softened. She spoke about her childhood, about standing on a dock waiting for a sail that never returned, about how the sea can look gentle even when it's deciding not to give someone back. "If anyone hears this," she whispered one night, "please know we didn't stop trying." He listened from the shadows, pretending not to hear, afraid that if he acknowledged her words, he would have to face his own grief out loud. One night, he couldn't hold it anymore. He sat on the deck, staring at the water, and cried silently, not from fear of dying, but from the realization that the ocean had already taken so much from him. He admitted what he had never said before, that sometimes he wondered if the sea remembered the people it swallowed, if it carried them endlessly, never letting them go, never letting them be found. They sat together through the next storm, hands clasped tightly, not as lovers, not as heroes, just as two people who did not want to disappear alone. Then came the calm again, complete, total. The ocean became a mirror. The compass spun uselessly. At night, the stars felt wrong, slightly shifted, familiar constellations just out of place enough to make the mind doubt itself. Their watches no longer matched. Time stretched, bent, felt unreliable. This disorientation had been reported before. Survivors spoke of confusion, lost hours, distorted perception, stress, magnetic interference, exhaustion, all working together to break the human sense of reality. They spoke about the others, the ships that never arrived, the planes that vanished. How many people had sat exactly where they were now, believing rescue would come before the sea decided otherwise? When the final storm arrived, it felt inevitable. Waves rose higher than before. The ship groaned, metal screamed, water poured into the lower decks, filling corridors fast. There was one last option, an emergency sail. Damaged, unreliable, but possible. Someone had to release it manually. They argued quietly, desperately. Logic failed. Fear took over. In the end, he went. Before he disappeared into the flooding darkness, she pressed her forehead to his, rain and tears mixing until they felt like the same thing. "If the sea remembers," she said, barely audible, "let it remember you kindly." The storm raged. The sail caught wind. The ship lurched forward violently, dragged away from the current's grip. When the clouds finally broke, the ocean lay calm again, as if nothing had happened. Days later, a ship appeared on the horizon. Rescue came. Some records say only one survived. Some say both did, but neither ever returned to the sea. What is certain is this: the Bermuda Triangle does not need myths. It does not need monsters. Nature, speed, weather, and human fragility are enough, and the ocean remains. Calm, endless, waiting.